Welcome to Ministry Mondays with Meg. I'm Meg. Hey everybody. I know it's been a little bit, but it's summer and life's a little crazy. And but I'm back and here we are. And today I have for you actually my very first from International Ministry Global Servants, Sarah and Lewis. Wait, I'm gonna do it right. Matos, right? Matos.
It's okay.
Okay. You know what? I'm all right. Matos, tomato.
Yes, that's how I usually tell people. Tomato, we're the tomatoes.
You're the tomato. I like that. All right, you're the tomato family. Okay. All right. So just for our audience sake, I met you guys, I think it was California. Maybe was it a CPC or Oregon?
I think it was Portland. Yeah, and I was super pregnant.
That's right. You were. Oh, that's right. So she was super pregnant with the world's cutest baby. I mean, I have 3 of my own, but mine are grown. But she's pretty adorable. I mean,
thank you.
So I met you all. That's right, in Portland. I went to the bookstore twice. That was great fun. Yeah. And you are global servants, right, for International Ministries. So for people who don't know, who haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, who don't know what you do, why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do, all that stuff, and then we'll just chat.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm Sarah, and I've been working with International Ministries for 6 years now, and I started, my first term was in Bolivia, and now we're headed to Mexico. And I'm an educator and a current online student with a Master of Divinity at Palmer Theological Seminary online. And I'm actually finishing up, I'll be, Lord willing, the light at the end of the tunnel is finally appearing.
Yeah.
Next year.
Oh, yeah. I remember that, the crawl. It's like that. And the in your head and out loud too is I'm graduating. I mean, I did that the entire year. It was just hi, I'm Meg and I'm graduating this year. Yeah. So
exactly.
Palmer.
Yeah. And okay. I've only been with International Ministries for the past few years. I joined on with Sarah as well, but this was after she already had started her progress along with International Ministries and was going to Bolivia. It's actually really funny because Sarah and I actually met in high school. But
this is what I wanted to know.
Yeah, we met in high school, but we didn't start dating till in our 30s. So we just knew each other.
When I was on my way to Bolivia.
When she was on, because God has a sense of humor. It was very weird timing, but it ended up working out. It's funny because when we started dating, we knew she was going to Bolivia, and we didn't know how this was going to work. But we trusted in the Lord, and here we are now. And if you had asked me even just 5 years ago if this is what my life was going to look like today, I would have had no idea.
Well, maybe a little more.
You could be a cute little Hallmark movie then. So
yeah, go get your flannel on.
You gotta have a flannel. You do have to.
I do have some flannels.
Yeah, I mean, we are from the Pacific Northwest, so it's kind of part of our staple of wearing clothes.
Yeah. Flannel. So when you went to Bolivia then, did you do the educator? Is that what you were doing there? Were you teaching?
Well, it was more still kind of focused on not teaching in a formal school, but actually God did open doors for me to be teaching little kids while I was there, but for a chapel. But that wasn't why I went. I was there to work with the House of Hope and build partnership with the local Baptist churches in Santa Cruz. And then pretty close to after I arrived, I got a couple visitors, Adalia and who's our area director, and Barbara Bullock, who works as a regional global consultant for I forget her actual full title. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so she developed the program Talita Cumi Girls Clubs. And she was at that point introducing it to me and inviting me to be a part of it and see if the Bolivian Baptist Union, which was my partner, wanted to be a part of it and be trained for this ministry, which empowers and equips girls of ages 8 to 12 to overcome their daily challenges through mentors who are from their local community. Okay. So, but then fast forward a few months, then the pandemic happened. And, so that really gave me time, since everyone was doing ministry online, spending the whole pandemic with Barb and developing, contextualizing, along with a few other people in a team, the curriculum that she had and was using in Chile since 2005, but then wanted to pilot it throughout Latin America. And so I been collaborating with her for now, it's been 5 years. Wow. And did a lot with the curriculum and added more crafts, and each module has a modern day hero. And so I did a lot of research with that as well. So it was a really fun project that, when I set off to answer the call to go to Bolivia, I mean, that definitely was not what was expected, but that's just what happened. And then I married. Well, we were dating and knew we were getting married. And so then after we got married, which was during the pandemic, yeah.
We had a drive-in wedding, actually. It was pretty cool.
What?
Yeah.
A drive?
Yeah. One way to really cut expenses for wedding, if you're planning a wedding, have everyone in their cars and provide popcorn. And that's what we did.
I kind of like that. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. It was so COVID. It was such a COVID wedding, but it's one of it was the best day of our life. So.
Because I'm assuming they sent you back from Bolivia when the pandemic started.
I was in Bolivia for it was quite an experience. I was there. Well, borders closed in March, and I was there till May, and couldn't leave our house. I was given one day for 4 hours to go collect supplies and food. If I was out of my house, we would be stopped by the police and maybe fined or possibly jail, but never risked that. So I went on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are my day.
Tuesday was your shopping day. Okay.
Yeah. And I lived with a bunch of other single missionary women who thankfully we all had different days. So we all were able to kind of strategize how we were going to, get.
Right. Well, so did you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So yeah, the ministry totally shifted. And then throughout the pandemic, it was a lot of remote work, a lot of helping our partners financially more than we had in the past, because there was a lot of people with COVID and needing doctors and medicine. So, yeah, it's just been kind of a wild ride.
It sounds like
ministry started out kind of crazy, but God has been faithful, and we're still here.
Since when did anybody in ministry ever, did it ever go as any of us ever planned? I mean,
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I never imagined that this would be what I would be doing, but I am grateful for it and I love it. So are you going to do the program then? Is that the plan when you get to Mexico?
Yeah, actually, in fact, since this was, we started a pilot program throughout Latin America. That's actually another kind of, I don't know if you want to say side effect or thing of when everything went virtual, everything was online, that we were able to then adapt the training. Instead of being in-person training for the curriculum, then it was all online, so that we were allowed to train more women that way. And then once this whole discernment process of ours together as a couple, we felt called to partner in Oaxaca, which I'm sure we'll get to that. But while we were there, I was talking about the girls' clubs, because the women that we met already were involved in working with women and girls, and really seeing the need of, especially post-COVID, and the mental health struggles that they were having, and the the trauma of isolation, and just the grief of not being in school and not being with their friends. The clubs give space for that, and they can be kids, and they can laugh and play and have a safe space. So they wanted to be trained, and so we actually trained them last year. And even during this whole fundraising process and pre-assignment of us going to Mexico, I have been able to walk alongside the women through online platforms to train them and just make sure that they have all the resources they need to carry out the program. And it's been amazing. We have had 25 girls, and this year we now have 50. So it's growing, and the girls just love it. And they, the mentors are just being Jesus to these girls, and they just feel loved, and it's just amazing.
So how does this all work? You guys, now you have your drive-in wedding. then in the midst of a pandemic, you got to figure out what you do now as a couple. Is that how, okay?
Yeah,
so
actually,
I go to Bolivia as a single, but I can as, how's this work?
Yeah, even at the beginning when we were talking about what we were going to do as a couple, again, because of my background is very much in business and customer service, and that's where I've kind of been in jobs my whole life, working towards corporate jobs and that kind of thing. And I never saw myself as a missionary. So when we were talking about what it's going to look like after we're married, I was marrying a missionary who is going off to another country. Of course, I'm going to go with her, but what does that look like for me? And at first, when we were talking about that, because of the mindset I was in, I never thought that I was going to be a missionary too, because in my mind, even though I'm a Christian, and we're all missionaries in our own right to the people around us, I never thought of myself as someone who would go to another country and be a missionary there. That I would need I should have had a theology degree, not a business degree, or something along those lines. But through this partnership, the Lord pushed me, and I was able to see that there's so much more to ministry than just the theology part, and how you can actually apply business to that as well. So as we were just talking about our future, the Lord really pressed on me that I was not just to go and be husband working remotely on my computer while my wife did missionary work, but I was to join in some capacity. So that's kind of where I started talking with IM and figuring out that, yes, my business can be applied to missions, and the partners we're going to be working with, I'm going to be working with them in capacity of business with their coffee and honey businesses that help support not only the wages of some people in the community, but also profits from that go on to support ministry work like the ones that Sarah's already been talking about, as well as other things working with COBAMI. Which I guess I'm a little jumping the gun. We haven't actually talked about COBAMI.
No, I wanted to get to the whole Oaxaca and how, yeah, how does this happen? And I know that you have to fund your own everything, yeah. Spill it.
So
Yeah.
right now, since we are pre-assigned global servants, we are building our network of missionary partnership network. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And in fact, we're doing our big, huge final push to be able to get on the field, because our partners would really like us there, and we really want to be there, to just continue that, building those relationships, but in person, and hopefully by January, that's what they were really hoping, that we could be there. And so we actually, this summer, we have started for our ministry to be more on people's minds, and to be praying with us. So we started a Matos Mondays prayer thing. And I think that's when you reached out to have us come, because, it's Monday and Matos Monday, Ministry Mondays with Meg. So it was just like lots of M's. So
we Baptists love our alliterations.
Oh yeah.
That's what I've been told. So,
Yeah.
So, so you said pre-assigned. How? So you have to be you have to be 100% funded to go. Is that how that all?
Yeah, honestly, that's just a term that international ministries. It just literally means that we have not yet moved to the field. Like, we are currently in Washington State, and we are visiting churches this fall and summer. We're going to be at different gatherings within the American Baptist churches, different annual gatherings in the fall, speaking at churches, and just building that partnership and inviting people to be involved in what God is doing in Mexico and what God will continue to do in Mexico. So yeah, that's why we're not yet on the field. So we're both commissioned.
Well, I know that's important.
Yes, and that's kind of basically the final step before being I don't know, you don't want to say launched, but sent to your country of service. You get commissioned by the International Ministries Board of Directors. So we had a great, beautiful commissioning service. Actually, next month will be a year, so it's not normal for it to have been that long, but unfortunately our funding had dropped just a few months after his commissioning, and so we've been just working hard to get that funding up.
So when you talk about funding, so we're talking about like individuals, churches, are they actually like giving the money, or are they just pledging, like, I promise we're gonna, how does that all?
Yeah, so it's all of the above with the churches, individuals, and even though the churches that do pledge to give a certain amount a month or a quarter or yearly or whatever it is, do help us get along in the field. A lot of it really does come down to individuals. Individuals are, I would say, the backbone of our support network. And a thing that people don't always realize when they're thinking about it is that sometimes people don't feel like their gift, if it's not big enough, it's not good enough. And
Mm.
I think we just have to take that stigma out, because whatever, the Lord puts in your heart for you to give towards things that God is doing in this world is enough, that all those matter, that God will take those all together and, use them for something good. So we are definitely looking for individuals to join our support network. And it is the reoccurring ones are the ones that are going to get us on the field. So one-time gifts do help us with expenses, but the people who say, I'm going to give $100 a month, I'm going to give $200 a quarter, I'm going to give, whatever a month annually, whatever it is, those are the ones that really push us to be able to go and serve on the field, because then we can count on those continuously going through. And those can be done through the International Ministries website, or if your church is connected with us, then through the church as well sometimes,
And we'll make sure that we put those links up for those who are watching and those who are listening, so that if you'd like to sign up to support, and if you'd like to learn more about their ministry, you can do that. Facebook and all those fun things. So tell us a little bit about where you're headed. Oaxaca. Why there?
Well, first of all, I applaud you for knowing how to say it, because
yeah,
I didn't say it first, and
that's fair. I forgot if I said
and
it.
I messed up the tomato thing, and so
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean, even some Spanish speakers that aren't from Mexico, they will pronounce it differently because it is an Aztec name. Well, it's derived from an Aztec name. So Oaxaca is one of the most southern states of Mexico, and it's like the most diverse ethnically and linguistically in the whole country. There's 16 different languages, indigenous languages, and then Spanish. So 17. And where we'll be serving is in the city of Oaxaca, the capital. And it's a beautiful, beautiful area in a valley. There's about, I don't know why population matters, but people always ask, what's the population? And I'm like, I don't even know what the population is in my own city, but it's, maybe it's like a, I don't know.
If they're people from the Midwest, that makes complete sense to me, because I'm originally from Indiana, and well, how big is it? Well, the town I grew up with in has no stoplight, still doesn't. Oh, okay. I mean, the weather gives them something to talk about.
Yeah, and it gives a little more of a picture of what it's like. So yeah, it's over 700,000 people, and basically you can drive from one part of the city, one side of the city to the next in 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that big, and it's surrounded by mountains. I forget if I already said that. It's really pretty. They grow a lot of corn and coffee, and a lot of other agriculture in the mountains specifically. And it's also kind of a touristy, there's a lot of expats that go there, especially for the food and the culture, and there's a lot of beautiful artisan crafts, and it's just really, really rich in culture.
So it's not necessarily you're going because it's a poverty, it's not like that kind of situation. It's not a poverty-stricken area.
Well, yes, it is. I mean, I guess I was just explaining what you could probably Google.
No,
but the reality is that, especially when you're thinking of in the communities and the indigenous population being a little bit more marginalized from access to services of the government and things like that. And just the things that they deal with, there is more poverty. And COBAMI that we work with, it's a network of Baptist churches that work with the indigenous communities, and they equip the local leaders to be missionaries in their communities. And so some of those communities are in desperate need of some resources, and they provide different things, like they'll have a team of dentists or doctors or psychologists will go out to the communities and provide mental and physical health to those who need it. So
yeah, and talking about those communities too, just to since COBAMI directly works with a lot of these indigenous communities that we're talking about, it's because too, when we're talking about the poverty, I think in the state of Oaxaca as a whole, the average population that lives below the poverty line is somewhere in the 30-something%. But when you go out to these communities that aren't just in the main city, that number jumps up to over 70%. So it's quite a drastic difference to all these indigenous communities. And so COBAMI works with them. So we're excited to work with COBAMI and help support them. Besides the work that Sarah was talking about that they do, they also have a school of missions, and they go around and have people graduate to be missionaries in their own right within the country. And this isn't a physical school that the people of these areas go to. It's rather that people of COBAMI go out to each of these places and at the local churches and train the local leaders there where they're at and offer these classes, so that way people can be missionaries in their own right. And a lot of them do start projects then in their own local communities. There are some that obviously also go out to serve in other countries similar to what we're doing, but a lot of them do serve within these communities after getting this training. And so just all of this, us being able to go support them is what we're excited for. And I know, at least me specifically, my dream and my passion with working with them with business is to not only help us help the people of today, but create something more sustainable that will still be there down the line, something that's still going to be able to be financially supported 20, 30 years down the line, whether we're there or not, whoever's there. And so that's what I'm really excited for.
What I appreciate about your description is here you've got this picture of this beautiful and lovely place, where people will go and visit and things like that. But there's always that other piece that maybe we don't read on Wikipedia because they don't list it. There's always so much more. And so to know that you've got 70% that are, in poverty in these indigenous, that's huge. So, So why missions? Why Oaxaca?
Yeah. Well, I guess it starts with a call, right?
Right.
And my call to be a missionary actually came when I was a teenager. I grew up American Baptist, and we had American Baptist missionaries come and visit our church and share about what they were going to be doing. And there was just something just within me, that God was like, Sarah, this is what you're going to do when you grow up. And of course, the path was just not straight. It never is, right? But I've always had a heart for mission and done a lot of short-term mission, which I'm also super passionate about, because not only with short-term mission, you go and you might help the people that you're going to serve with, but you also, God does something amazing in your own heart. And that also just opens your worldview on how, especially for me, I have learned to, to pray differently and worship differently because of the experiences of the different, mainly Latin American cultures that I have been working with these years. And so why Mexico is, so when we were discerning with international ministries. So one thing that is also really good to say is, because some people that might be watching might not really know what American Baptist International Ministries is and how we function. So we go to places because there's an invitation, and there's already a partner that an international partner with IM, and they have been in communication with IM asking for certain missionaries that could help in different, ministry priorities that we help in. And so our ministry priorities are education and discipleship and economic development. And when thinking about Mexico, the invitation to Oaxaca was open. And so we went on a vision trip, and we met all the leaders of COBAMI, and they explained to us their vision for contextualizing the gospel to all the different communities and equipping the local missionaries to go out. And then also they talked about the need for development in those communities, and that they had already been working with coffee and honey, and they wanted to grow that. And they had already been working with women and children, and they wanted to just have a different ministry with girls. So, and then one thing that's interesting about Oaxaca is that 1 in 5 girls become pregnant in their
pre-adolescence.
As a teenager. Yeah. So that's the important part of why the clubs are for girls of ages 8 to 12, because we hope that the mentor then instills not only, the love, but teaches them what a healthy relationship is and what it isn't, and gives them the agency to make healthy decisions, and empowering them to make a difference in the world and to live into their God-given potential. And so then the hope, and I've talked with mentors, because the curriculum is only a couple years right now. And so they're like, well, what's next? And they want to just continue that relationship with the girls. And that is what I think is going to prevent girls to get, getting into those vulnerable situations, and so they have a better future.
Because they said, what's next? I mean, that's, wow. I mean, yeah. 1 in 5, that's huge. I mean,
yeah,
huge.
And
you're in poverty. I mean,
yeah, and a lot of it obviously is abuse, because but to be able to teach girls that they have worth and that they matter is something that I'm very passionate about.
I mean, it sounds like quite an amazing journey you've been on already. And how long is your commitment? So once you're funded and you're going, how long are you committed for?
Yeah, so the term is 5 years, And that's going to be 4 years in country once we initially go, and then 1 year back. We'd go and visit all the churches that supported us and report back, raise more support if we're going to go back out to there again, and then do another 5-year term. So yeah, that's the term.
And so Nora will grow up learning Spanish and
yes,
all and school and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
We have she's 1.5 right now. So, and yeah, she'll speak Spanish way better than us put together.
Well, speaking of which, Nora's not the only one who needs. I also still need to learn Spanish. This one speaks Spanish. I know a little Spanish. I still will be going to language school actually initially when I first go, but I do know a little bit. But I am not fluent yet.
Yeah, I know like Dora the Explorer Spanish. That's mine. 10, I can ask about a taxi, the airport, and a hamburger. French fries, those kind of things. But like that's about it. I took German and Greek in seminary because that's gonna come in handy. Remember? What do you have something that you're most looking forward to when you get there? Or is it just the getting there? I mean,
gosh, I think at this point of our journey, it is just like setting down roots and really getting connected with the community and just being able to have that, that we know where we are and we're and just to get to know our partners and get to know the culture, learn the language, and eat delicious food around the table with our partners and
that's what I was about to say
delicious coffee.
I'm excited to try a lot of the Oaxacan cuisine. I hear especially they're known for their mole.
Ooh. And I was thinking coffee and honey. I would wonder, can I get packages from Mexico? I was thinking, maybe they need to set up a little store and I need to do some online purchasing of coffee. I mean, it would be fun, and let's say a year from now to come back and do this again, and you'll have been there and can talk about what it's been in this new world and new ministry that you're living. I mean, I know that's not completely foreign, but yet you're not there yet. And so as soon as you're
and we've never lived there, so there's going to be a lot of learning that's going to happen.
Yeah, so it would be fun a year from now to touch base with you and see how everything is going and test Lewis on his Spanish and and all those things and do an update for everybody and but folks, we got to get them funded first. So it's not the only reason they came on the show, but because they have the cutest baby in the world. And, because I met them and because the reason we have the show is because we talk about ministries that go on beyond the church. And this, fits so well. And so I'm very excited for you. But for those listening, those watching, if you can, and like Lewis said, it's not about the amount. It's about whatever God puts on your heart. Go to International Ministries, and I'll put the links in there so you don't even have that excuse.
And if you go to the website, our contact to be able to email us on there too, because if anyone out there wants to reach out to us, right? We are more than welcome to talk more with individuals about what it is that we're doing, what our ministry is. We very often will have either phone calls or Zoom calls with people to really to hammer down because people, when people are interested, they want to know more and get involved. And we always want our with our donors to be a relationship. It's not just a one-sided, we just get money from this faceless entity. We like to, see people and let people know that they really are involved.
Because they want to hear your stories, because stories are, yeah. So, yeah, folks, if you have the ability to support them prayerfully, support them financially, all the things, please be sure to do so. So we have the question. But before I ask that question, is there anything else like that we need to know about this adventure that you're on? Like anything else about?
I would just invite people to, especially since they'll be seeing this on a Monday as well, to join us this summer. We're the Facebook link that should be down below to our Facebook page. We'll be posting every Monday a little update, some prayer requests, but we're really pushing hard to get there by the end of this year. And even everyone praying for us brings us so much energy and passion to be able to keep pushing forward. So just keep us in your prayers, and remember Matos Mondays.
Matos Mondays. And we'll get you a cool Ministry Mondays with Meg t-shirt as well. Ooh. And so you can be a part of the club and all of that stuff. And there's this community that comes with it. That's great fun. So the joy question, that is my favorite question. All the things that you do. Now you each have to give an answer. You don't want to answer for both of you. So you
okay.
Therefore, we can't see your daughter.
I mean, you can both say that. So what brings you joy?
Okay, so I will start. I will say that one thing that I've always enjoyed in life in general, and it has a lot to do with the kind of career path I had was going on. Like in high school, I helped people by tutoring in math. And when I worked out in my customer service based jobs, I became a manager. I did a lot of training. I've always really enjoyed some sort of teaching or training. And that has always brought me a lot of joy. So specifically what I want to say is, now that I have a daughter, I do have a lot of joy of just being able to sit down with her and go through a book and read a lot, or work on our letters, colors, just different words here and there. Just that teaching mindset, but actually being able to work with my daughter has just been a huge joy in my life.
Oh, that's a good answer. Okay, your turn, Sarah.
I was like, oh, how to top that? Well, I mean, what brings me joy, honestly, that doesn't really have to do with ministry.
It doesn't have to.
It's coffee, and tacos, and my family. So, in no particular order, but and maybe all at once too.
I mean, okay, so I'm gonna say this is episode 70 something, and no one has ever said coffee. I don't think anyone's ever said coffee as their answer, which I'm surprised, because but coffee and tacos and family as a bonus. I mean, but also in no particular order. See, this is what I love about this question is no two people give the same answer. I promise no one has. One day we're going to make like a compilation video or something with just everybody's answers in it, just so I can prove that I'm not lying. But those are great. I like that answer. So if I ever come to Oaxaca, Mexico, I'm going to have tacos and coffee.
And family.
Yeah. I'm not going to bring like my family. I'm just going to hang out with the relationship.
Yeah. We're family. Yeah. We're American Baptist family.
We are. We're American Baptist. So I'm so glad that you made time to do this and to be on the show. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, and to share your heart and your story. And I mean, we did have Reed on. Reed Trulson did an episode for us and
That's awesome.
talked all about Charlotte, you know. So yay, you have the distinction of being, I mean, Reed notwithstanding, but being my first global servants on the show. So later,
We feel very honored.
the trivia question comes up because one day we will play Ministry Mondays with Meg trivia kind of thing. You will be a trivia answer.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the little things in life that make me happy, you know, trivia, coffee.
It's true.
Yeah. So,
gotta go simple.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for your time. We thank our folks, our supporters, our those who stumble onto us by accident, whatever it is, for joining us and supporting my friends, my family here in their missions. And thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you.